really lucky at AES to have a collection of artworks by the artist Nek Chand, a folk artist that I really knew nothing about before I came to India. And so when I saw that there was this picture book about Nek Chand, I could hardly believe it, and was so excited to get it in the library. And over my holiday, my family and I and some friends went to Chandigarh. And on our way back, on a kind of a whim, we stopped by the Nek Chand Park. And I was blown away. I couldn't believe the pieces that are on our campus are gorgeous. And when you get to the actual park that he built and have them in context, it just elevates them to another level. And so I remembered that we had this book in the library, and I knew it was a gorgeous book. And so I immediately came back to school and got on Twitter and wrote to the author to see if she would be willing to communicate with us. And now some really great things are happening. Barb Rosenstock is talking with our teachers and our elementary school librarian to try to find the best way to bring that work and her understanding of Nek Chand to our students.
My inspiration for this book was an accident. And people sometimes don't believe this, but it's true. What happened is I was working on another book about Vincent van Gogh, and I was having a very difficult time. I just couldn't come up with what was I really writing about Vincent van Gogh? I mean, I knew all these facts and I was putting things down on paper, and it just kind of went, And so I just didn't know what else to do. I called up my Google search and I just typed in really quickly, outside doing art. But I misspelled it, and I misspelled it outsider doing art. And this picture came up. Thank you, Google. This is Nek Chand's rock garden. I became fascinated by Nek Chand's story. I just did a little very brief research, literally like Wikipedia kind of things and some internet things. And I wasn't really getting a lot of information, but what I found so fascinating was that he was just a regular person, a road builder that began doing this project for himself. And then I found from India, I got this sent all the way to Chicago. I waited for this so long. It was Memoirs of Nek Chand, where he talks about his childhood. And that was where I really wanted to base the story, is this story of this child who grew up in a certain culture that he loved, hearing stories that he loved, and then being displaced from that culture, missing it terribly, and recreating it in his artwork. So the whole thing to me seemed like a big circle. And if you read The Secret Kingdom, anybody who's out there who has read it or will read it, it is a book built on a circle, on the idea of seasons being a circle and our lives being a circle and art being a circle.
Having the physical resource of the sculptures on campus is really an amazing feature of our campus. I actually came across a quote not so long ago. I think it was part of an advertisement in a design magazine. And it was something like, our need to belong shapes the way we design our belongings. And the first thing that jumped into my head was Nek Chand sculptures. The need to belong shape the need for belonging. The design for belonging. And I'm like, wouldn't that be a great place to start with a lesson or a unit with those sculptures as a basis? Deciding and deciphering what's going to be appropriate with what are the resources, what is the timeline, who are the players, and what's possible. All of that can happen through conversation. And I think the more other teachers and other educators and other people, not our whole community, knows about that, and we can refocus some attention to that very unique feature of our campus that's not any place else in any other school in the world, and that is very India. And that whole idea of community, using people, using figurines, shaping, making, that's what schools do. That's who we are, that's what we do. And we can point to that as examples of